to play a game because I want this to really land for you guys. Okay? So our game is going to be guess that tribal stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a quote on screen, and this is an actual quote from a team that I've worked with, let's say over the past 5 years. We'll leave it nice, wide, and open so that clients can't recognize themselves. So, and after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, what stage is that from, and we're going to have a conversation around that. So that's going to be a little bit more dynamic. 30 hours is the smallest task I can come up with. I really can't break it down further than that. And you can hear that at a sprint planning meeting, typically. 3? 2? 2? Excuse me? 2.5? Truth is, there's some 2 and there's some 3. Okay, so let's take the 2 perspective. We're going to put our perspective hat and look at it just from the 2 perspective. Why could this be a 2? I really can't. I don't want to.
Well, maybe there's just process and overhead that doesn't allow them to.
Maybe there's, yeah, maybe there is.
He doesn't want to break it down. There's an onus on him to break it down. And he feels...
Yes, and he feels, you know, the management wants me to do this because they want to micromanage me. Okay, so that's a stage 2 type of perspective. Yes, sir?
This could be 5 hours of work and 25 hours of other things.
Yes, so this could be hiding something. This could be hiding the fact that I need to do support and that's eating away a bunch of my time and I'm kind of shielding my estimate, but I'm not able to tell you that. That's the stage 2 perspective. I can't tell you that. You'd want to, but you can't. Internally, you don't want to process it. Yes?
It could also be a statement from someone who's been in an environment where management never recognizes how much work things really,
Yes.
time it really takes to do work.
Yes. And then again, it comes back to the first point. I don't want to be micromanaged because now you don't believe me, so you want me to break it down in smaller pieces? So if we take it from the stage 3 place, what does the stage 3 place sound like for this one? Yeah, you don't get how difficult this is, really. Just trust me, I know. I can handle this, right? So that's an easy conversation to kind of break down, because when I get that, I'd say, you know, I worked in development for 15 years. You can try that on someone else. I know that when I used to do stuff, I had a plan. So what would you do first? Oh, I'd do the database, or I'd do, oh, look, I have a post-it. I have a post-it. So we're able to get around that. But what's behind that even a bit deeper for stage 3? Excuse me? I don't want anyone else to work on it. I don't want anyone else to work on it. I don't want to share my toys. Okay? But there's also the perspective, I'll just explain it this time around. So there's also the perspective that if I break this down into 5 things that take 7 hours, all of a sudden I've given you a lot of visibility on my work, right? I've given you a lot of transparency, and what if I don't meet one of those estimates? Maybe I'm not so great anymore, right? So there's something there that threatens the ego, that threatens the, how am I going to look if I don't make these estimates? Because, you know, there's a part of, I feel micromanaged as a defense mechanism, but all that is related, is really tied to, I don't want to expose myself. Okay. So do we have any other choice but to be on board with this sprint plan? And we'll hear this once again at the end of a sprint planning meeting. You know, usually I ask the team, so guys, are we in, or are we against this plan? And sometimes I get this. Where's this from? 2. Okay, so do I really have a choice? What's the stage 4 version of this? If we twisted this around.
You can take some other plans for to be more successful in this thing.
So we'd have a conversation, right? We'd have a conversation that says, maybe we can't do this plan like this. Should we redesign our solution? Should we pass work around? How can we? Okay, so it's the same point. We're just taking it from a different angle. Can you see some of the distinctions now in the language of the stages? Let's try another one. Why should Joe be estimating this story? I wrote the code. I know how complex it is. 3, really? Yeah, okay. That's a gimme, right? So I have a story for this one. One of my clients a few years ago, God, I feel old sometimes. A few years ago, they add up, right? So one of my clients a few years ago, we were starting to do estimation together. It was a team of 6 people. And they were each working in silos, and it was known that they were working in silos. But as they were working in a more agile way, they started to share work between themselves on the team to build capacity with other people. And so when we got to poker planning, they said, but how are we going to estimate this? How am I going to estimate the stuff that Marie-Christine is doing? I have no clue what she's doing. I don't understand her world. And it wasn't coming from a stage 3 place of, and what do you know? It was people that was saying, what do I know? So we said, let's try it, just for fun. Let's just try it, and we'll figure it out. And what they learned was because they were starting to share work, they were actually better able to challenge one another on the estimates than they thought. And then they started liking doing it, and they just kept doing it. So sometimes don't try to find, is there an experiment we can try? That's another way that I get away with a lot of the stuff I do in coaching. It's an experiment, right? We're just trying. If it doesn't work, we'll figure it out, we'll move from there, but at least we took a step. Mr. Product Owner, we have 2 solutions to meet your business need. And we recommend the first one. 4? Okay, why 4? There's ownership there too. That's the important part. Because we can say we to anything. We had we here too, right? But it's the ownership here. I had a team once, okay, that what was interesting with them was when they started working together, they would present solutions to the product owner and they'd say, you can do this, what do you want? And I'd ask them, so what do you recommend? And they go, recommend? Just tell us what you want and we'll do whatever you want. Okay? So there is a corollary to this. There is something else that goes around with this. So guys, we won't be able to reach our sprint goal. We're starting to run late. What should we do? Where's that from? We're at 4. What would stage 2 be for this?
Dependency. We can blame somebody else.
We can blame somebody else? Yeah, but all this support came in. Marie-Christine didn't step up and do her piece. Marie-Christine is my colleague right there in pink with glasses. Just picking on her every once in a while. It makes it, I don't know all of you, so I can't pick on everyone. So, yes. So there is something there around, at stage 2, we can blame other people. At stage 3, don't worry, I'll get it done. Do you need help, Jim? I don't need help, I'm good, I'll get it done, just trust me. 35 hours, I told you. I can't break it down any further. But Jim, it's still 35 hours. And you have 2 days left. Okay? That's a stage 3 conversation. Stage 3 will not want to make their time visible on their post-its. They won't tend to update their time. How are we with this now? How is this sitting? Is it better? Can you see how this applies in your work environments? Okay. I'm going to skip.